Be alone. That gives you time to wonder, to search for the truth. Have holy curiosity. Make your life worth living. Albert Einstein. In a culture that places a high importance on connection, extroversion, and ongoing conversations, the idea of loneliness could come off as an intrusive stranger. Invoking thoughts of emptiness and solitude, loneliness frequently carries a negative connotation. However, there is a paradoxical reality that applies to spirituality. Loneliness, when accepted and understood, may be a potent catalyst for profound self-discovery and spiritual development. The human journey is often complicated, full of many interpersonal interactions, distractions, and constant noise. One might struggle to find moments of quiet in the clamor of life. But being alone and being lonely are not the same thing. While being alone is a purposeful choice and can be rejuvenating, loneliness frequently shows up uninvited, bringing with it emotions of isolation and misery. Spirituality, however, presents solitude as counterintuitive, although it initially seems to be a barrier to one's spiritual development because of the melancholy and a sense of abandonment it often carries. Closer examination reveals that it can actually be a powerful transforming force that propels you on a path to self-awareness, inner peace, and enlightenment. At the heart of spirituality lies the pursuit of self-realization. It is the quest to understand your inner essence, rise above your ego, and realize how connected you are to everything else in the universe. The feeling of loneliness might serve as an important compass in this fundamental quest. When loneliness strikes, you're frequently forced to face your truest self. Since there are no outside distractions or other people's opinions to contend with, you are left alone with your thoughts, feelings, and anxieties. Solitude then acts as a mirror, reflecting your innermost sentiments and ideas back to you. This self-reflection may be disturbing, uncovering repressed feelings, unresolved traumas, and the facets you present to others. However, facing these aspects of yourself is the only way to genuinely start a road of self-discovery. Have you ever felt alone or isolated in life, like you couldn't form a genuine connection with those around you? That might have been the most powerful moment of your life, only if you knew how to utilize it. But if you don't, it's okay too. You are about to know just how. But first, hit that subscribe button to connect with your higher self and join a like-minded community. If you feel as though you don't belong anywhere, or that being around people doesn't feel quite right for you, do not worry. Nothing is wrong with you. Being alone is essential for your spiritual development. As you go out on this journey of self-discovery, it's normal to feel cut off from others. It is a solitary journey. It's typical to feel the need for isolation and introspection during this time. While facing your darkest desires and anxieties requires courage, the benefits can be life-changing. You can discover your purpose and direction in life by spending time by yourself and getting to know yourself better. Of course, being alone doesn't mean loneliness. You can still have deep relationships with people, but you need to make sure that they support your personal development and are consistent with your ideals. It's okay to cut ties with relationships that no longer serve you and look for new connections that align with your developing sense of self. The Buddha was once asked whether it is better to walk alone or in the company of others. He said that it was preferable to walk alone than to walk with a fool. When someone sets out on a path of spiritual awakening, one of the usual experiences is that they grow more and more isolated over time. When one becomes interested in spirituality, they lose interest in the majority of unimportant and superficial things. The contrary can also be true. One's spirituality might be brought on by losing interest in everything else. A person could get disillusioned with worldly goals and feel impelled to look for something more and more significant. However, the majority of people in society appear to be mostly engaged in trivial matters. As a result, those who are on a spiritual path frequently find themselves growing more cut off from society, including their friends and family who may not understand or be interested in spirituality. If you try to discuss these topics with just anyone, you might discover that the majority of people are either unwilling to hear it, uninterested in it, or completely unable to understand it. It can be difficult to deal with the emotions of loneliness and isolation that might result from this. However, there lies so much power in solitude. As harsh as it sounds, you were born alone and you will die alone. Therefore, it's crucial to develop a sense of comfort in solitude. You can't walk alone if you don't know how to be alone. By spending time alone, you can develop a greater awareness of yourself and the world around you. You explore new ideas and viewpoints while finding comfort in solitude. You can notice and discover things about yourself in solitude that you might not normally perceive while engaging with others in the busy outer world. When you are constantly distracted by other people, it is challenging to understand the source of your thoughts and emotions. Through solitude, you learn about uncomfortable mental states that you typically avoid by embracing external distractions. You also let go of rigid opinions and group thinking. It's simple to become fixed in your own thoughts and disregard other viewpoints when you surround yourself with people who hold similar beliefs and ideals. However, by spending time alone, you're able to overcome preconceptions and prejudices, open your mind to fresh concepts, and acquire a more nuanced and flexible perspective on the world. You can also harness solitude as a tool for creativity and invention. The world's greatest philosophers and artists have devoted a large deal of time to their work in solitude, while also learning about themselves. Think of a poet who enjoys solitude. As he spends time alone, he gets closer to his emotions and inner voice. He starts to notice the little things around him and finds beauty in the mundane and ordinary. His sense of loneliness and alienation from others motivates him to go into the recesses of his own mind, which opens him a world of inspiration and creativity. With a pen and a blank sheet of paper in front of him, he pours out his thoughts and feelings onto the page, using words and phrases that speak to the human experience through his art. Despite his physical isolation, he manages to have significant and profound connections with others. As time goes on, the poet receives praise for his writing from both critics and other poets, gaining reputation for his talent. His poems inspire and uplift all who read them, touching the hearts of many. In this way, the poet's isolation has evolved into a source of inspiration and creativity that enables him to share his distinct viewpoint with the world. So isolation can be an effective instrument for developing oneself and expressing one's creativity. It offers a place for self-examination, reflection, and investigation of one's own ideas and emotions. It served as the poet's springboard for fame and fortune, demonstrating that sometimes the best successes can come from within. In the words of Nikola Tesla, a famous inventor, the mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude. No big laboratory is needed in which to think. Originality thrives in seclusion, free of outside influences beating upon us to cripple the creative mind. Be alone. That is the secret of invention. Be alone. That is when ideas are born. That is why many of the earthly miracles have had their genesis in humble surroundings. One of the advantages of being alone is that it gives you the freedom to concentrate on your thoughts without interruption from other forces. When surrounded by other people, you may frequently feel pressured to live up to societal norms and expectations. This may inhibit your imagination and constrain your capacity for original thought. On the other hand, when you're by yourself, you can freely explore your ideas and thoughts without worrying about being judged or criticized. You can learn more about who you are and where you fit in the world by spending time alone. Being alone gives you the opportunity to consider your thoughts and feelings, which can promote better self-awareness and personal development. You can discover your strengths and weaknesses using this introspective technique, which will give you important insights for both your personal and professional development. It's crucial to understand that solitude does not entail total seclusion from society. Instead, it could be used to describe a mental state in which you are more absorbed in your own thoughts than in outside distractions. An artist, like our imagined poet for instance, might isolate themselves in a cabin in the woods to create, but they might also interact with others and share their ideas with the public through their work. It is important to understand that being alone isn't always a good or advantageous experience. Chronic or excessive loneliness may have harmful effects such as depression, anxiety, and other mental health problems. A healthy balance between isolation and social interaction is necessary. It's important to realize when your seclusion is doing more harm than good. Being alone is a fundamental and natural component of being human. It's common in contemporary society to dread or avoid loneliness, but this shouldn't be the case. The truth is, you can only genuinely understand who you are and where you fit in the world by embracing your own solitude. When you learn to walk alone in the company of your inner self, you discover the profound power of solitude and the oneness that connects you to all beings and the universe. Ready to take your spiritual journey to the next level? Get your cosmic popcorn ready and watch the next video.